day and stay safe. From KCRG TV9, this is First Alert Weather Now.
Good evening, folks, and welcome to the Tuesday night edition of First Alert Weather Now. I'm meteorologist Corey Thompson.
And I forgot my name, Corey.
Oh, hi, Hannah.
There we go.
Yeah.
I remembered it now. I'm meteorologist Hannah Messier.
Yes, and we are here to bring you the latest on what is a pretty active weather week coming up. We've got some breaks mixed in between, and one of them pretty well timed for a holiday coming up.
I'm so excited about this upcoming holiday. Before we get to the holiday, though, we do have to deal with one more warm day in the forecast.
We do, and a lot of rain potentially, too, which we'll get into in just a second. But first,
we've got your forecast for you. So looking at our Solon City Cam, we can see it is a pretty calm evening across eastern Iowa. It's warm though, look at that, 78 degrees in Cedar Rapids, 80 in Iowa City and 80 in Solon, with winds coming out of the south around 15 to 25 miles per hour. Now, because of those high winds, that wind advisory that is in effect for most of our area is still in play all the way through tonight, with those gusts greater than 40 miles per hour possible. We've seen some pretty high wind gusts this afternoon, up to 45 miles per hour. Here's what we're tracking in your First Alert forecast. We've got that chance for rain and storms on Wednesday. The better chance does look to be in Wednesday afternoon. After Wednesday's storms, Halloween looks cooler. Highs on Halloween much more seasonal and nice for trick-or-treaters as long as you find a way to stay a little warm. Now, we have more rain in the forecast. The upcoming weekend actually looks pretty active. Hope you're ready for some rain. We definitely do need it. Now, in our setup for tonight, that cold front that's going to bring in chances for some showers and storms on Wednesday is off to our northwest. East of that cold front, we've got all of those high winds coming in from the south, bringing in that warm air, and that's going to cause temperatures this evening to stay pretty warm. Only cooling into the low 70s by midnight, 65 degrees at 6 a.m. on your Wednesday morning, with winds coming out of the south, 20 to 30 plus. So I think there were some ghosts probably today on people's doorsteps that were trying to hold on to like the doorsteps so they don't fly away, because it was pretty windy.
saw a couple decorations laying face down in a yard or somewhere up against a house today on the way in to work. So yeah, a little bit of that going on out there.
So maybe if you just find your neighbor's ghost, maybe in your yard, just have nicely return it back to your neighbor's house.
Yeah, make a friend. Yes, and we, of course, are nearing the, I guess, tail end of spooky season, at least a little bit, as Halloween comes up in a couple days. Chief Meteorologist Joe Winters has your forecast for fun through the week.
October winding down, November's almost here, but certainly some warm conditions still with us. Great chance to get out. Walking forecast still looks good for the remainder of this evening, but Wednesday, windy conditions, cooler than as we head through Thursday and Friday, but realize those temperatures still above normal. Of course, that rain Wednesday afternoon or evening could prevent you from taking that walk. Fall activities tomorrow, if you're going to do anything, it's still windy. Do it by noon, because after that, we are going to see some of those showers and storms move in. Wednesday also, of course, is by 5 and 6 o'clock, judging at 5:30 for the big pet costume contest over at Lion Bridge. It's free, judging at 5:30. Going to be fun. Pets all will get some treats. Haunted houses still open as we head through the mid part of the week into the end of the week. 59 for Halloween might be a nice day to visit a haunted house, and your trick-or-treat times, you see those there. We have an additional list of all the cities that we have in eastern Iowa that we have times for, listed on KCRG.com. Overall, though, the trick-or-treat forecast is still looking good. Will dry things out, and temperatures should be in the low 50s to mid 40s with a bit lighter wind. Still enough wind out there, but it is going to be nice and dry, which is exactly what we're looking for. Then we head into Saturday. It is college football, and boy, of a change, because we've had beautiful weather for the games. It does look like the game at Iowa City as well as Iowa State could both have some rain. That, of course, can certainly affect the game and the handling of the football. We'll continue to watch those forecasts and see how they evolve. That's tonight's forecast for fun.
Now, your First Alert forecast with meteorologist Corey Thompson.
Tonight certainly is on the windy side outside. As you step outside, expect that to continue over the next several hours. Our Manchester City Cam getting dark a little out of focus because of that change of light for the night, but there are still plenty of clouds overhead. There was a really nice sunset out there just about 20 minutes ago, so hopefully you got a chance to catch it. Temperatures in the upper 70s to around 80, as Hannah mentioned. Those winds still very gusty. Now, on your first alert, we have several things here highlighted in orange. Winds are the first concern here. That continues through the nighttime hours into most of the day tomorrow. Those gusts could exceed 30 miles per hour at just about any time. And so perhaps if you have those outdoor Halloween decorations, make sure they're secure before you go to bed tonight so they don't blow away during those nighttime hours. Now, we are watching the possibility of showers and storms tomorrow. Now, it's going to be later in the day. We're talking past noon in terms of the best chance for stuff to start to pop up, and the best chance for some of those heavier storms in terms of a few that could be on the strong side arrives later in the afternoon, evening. Tonight, no precipitation falling out of the clouds. Pretty extensive cloud cover, though, after a start today. That was a little bit less so. In that area of low pressure to our west, this cold front that has shown very little movement over the last 24 hours will start to move tomorrow. It's going to bring that chance for rain with it. So your first alert forecast overnight, temperatures falling just a few degrees. We'll be around 67 in Washington, same in Fayette. Mostly cloudy skies at times. Breezy conditions continuing there too. And your first alert forecast for tomorrow into the 70s, 73 in Charles City, 77 in Iowa City. Everyone getting there before that rain starts to set in. That's why these colors are a little more on the green side up here in the northwest zone. Yeah, later in the afternoon, after we reach that high, temperatures will fall a bit once the rain arrives. And first alert, pinpoint futurecast here shows the cloud cover continuing as we go through the night. We're keeping those southerly or southwesterly winds for a start on Wednesday, so expect another windy and warm one for the first half of the day. Notice by about 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning, a few isolated showers try to pop up, but the better chance for more widespread activity first initially ahead of the main batch of storms will be there in the afternoon hours, but then the main line here arrives about 3 or 4 o'clock in our northwest zone. Now, due to the nature of these storms, individual cells within this line are going to be moving to the northeast tomorrow. The overall line will be shifting to the east, so there will be a little bit of both going on there. Our northern zones will be most in line for most of the activity through most of the day, and then the first opportunity to get those showers and storms. So by about 5 or 6, we're talking about the trailing end of the line here, getting to Cedar Rapids or Iowa City, but already approaching the Mississippi River here in our northeast zone. And then this continues through the evening. Slow moving. That's going to be the key for these showers and storms, and that's going to give us that chance for some decent rainfall. By the early morning hours of Thursday, some scattered showers remain, but we'll see things dry out in time for the start of Thursday. Now, here in eastern Iowa, we are not included in any of the Storm Prediction Center's outlooks here in terms of a slight risk, but that's off to our southwest in this orange area, as actually outlooked for an enhanced risk for severe weather in eastern Kansas, parts of Missouri, far southeastern Nebraska, and portions of Oklahoma. So they could be dealing with some rockier weather. We could see some stronger storms tomorrow night. We're not out of the woods for perhaps an incidence of gusty winds or even a little bit of hail, and a few of those storms. The better bet is the chance for rain. We're looking at a really good swath of rain that's going to exceed an inch probably in many locations, likely in our northwest half of the viewing area, a little bit less the farther southeast you go, but you're certainly not out of the woods for a decent dousing there too. Winds will stay strong through Thursday, lighter Friday, then pick up toward the tail end of the weekend as our pattern stays active. More chances for rain will be out there. It'll arrive later in the day on Saturday. Saw that in the forecast for fun. Some football games potentially affected later in the day, but Sunday looks like a better shot at rain and storms. That extends into Monday as well, with pretty widespread areas of precipitation possible. So when things are all said and done, we could be talking about multiple inches of rain between now and the end of the 9-day forecast. That would be, well, certainly a change of events after the last several weeks of mostly dry weather. Now, temperatures will be generally headed for the nearer to normal range as we go over the next several days, 50s and 60s for highs. This will likely have been our last 80-degree high for the rest of the year until sometime next year, because we have never had it happen in November before. Today tied a record in Cedar Rapids at 84.
It's been a very warm fall, but I'm okay with the 80s being done for the year. They've had a very extended welcome here in eastern Iowa. Now I think we need to give some cooler temperatures a chance to enjoy our area.
I think most people are going to agree with you on that, and you are probably right too.
Yes, well, today's weather-wise question is actually very appropriate. Jack Caro sent in this question from Cedar Rapids.
Why does the wind blow?
Thank you so much, Jack. Now, the wind blows because of high and low pressure systems. Now, high and low pressure systems kind of control the atmosphere. We have our low pressure systems, which cause the movement of rising air. So low pressure systems cause rising air. high pressure systems cause sinking air. So the movement of the air because of the high and low pressure system is what causes the winds. Now, what develops the low pressure systems, the differences in pressure we find in our atmosphere, is actually because the sun doesn't heat the earth all the same way. The sun will unevenly heat the earth. That causes those high and low pressure systems. The other thing with high and low pressure system is that air and wind move differently around each. Air and wind around a high pressure system, this moves clockwise around the high pressure systems. Low pressure systems, air and wind move counterclockwise along it. So you'll get different kinds of wind in different directions and at different temperatures depending on where you are in relation to these high and low pressure systems. Also, the stronger the high pressure system, the stronger the low pressure system, the faster the winds. So air also typically moves from high pressure towards low pressure. So if you're between the high pressure and the low pressure, you'll also sometimes get some higher wind gusts in the area. Let's relate that to what we saw today. We've got a high pressure system well off to our southeast and our low pressure system off to the west. Now this low pressure system today caused our high winds coming in from the south. We are on the east side, the northeast side of that low pressure system, which means our winds are coming in from the south, because remember the winds move counterclockwise along the low pressure system. Behind the low pressure system, the wind coming in from the north. So that's kind of why today's winds were so high, because of this incoming strong low pressure system that's going to cause that chance for rain on Wednesday. Now here's a look at some of those peak wind gusts we had today. We had up to 45-mile-per-hour wind gusts in Cedar Rapids, 39-mile-per-hour winds in Waterloo, 40-mile-per-hour peak winds in Dubuque today. So we do know that that low pressure system is pretty strong because we're seeing some of those high winds. In review, wind, just the movement of air, typically caused by differences in pressure, high pressure systems and low pressure systems. The stronger the high pressure system, the stronger the winds will be. The stronger the low pressure system, the stronger the winds will be. And air always likes to move from high pressure systems towards low pressure systems. Thank you so much for that question, Jack. If you would like to send in a question and have it answered here on Weather Now, head over to kcrg.com/unews.
And thank you, Hannah. Yeah, wind is a big deal in our weather, and it's bringing a lot of change over the next 24 to 36 hours here to eastern Iowa. Your next 9 involves that really good chance of showers and storms later tomorrow into tomorrow night. Now, this wraps up again fairly early tomorrow night. Along with it, the strong winds, southerly first, but then switching direction as we head through the rest of Wednesday evening into Wednesday night. Notice those southerly winds, but as the cold front moves through with that line of storms, they come around from the west and northwest as the area of low pressure will be located to our northeast. So that counterclockwise flow brings it in that westerly or northwesterly direction, those gusts above 30 miles per hour. So we will look here at just a second. We lost the 9-day. That's all right, though. We'll get back to it if we can. Yeah, so the rest of the 9-day forecast does involve temperatures staying in the 50s and 60s, generally expecting conditions to be a little bit more appropriate for fall, and a decent amount of rain as we go into the weekend, too. That's going to be a pretty consistent thing looking forward. There, you can see it now. The rain, as we are all said and done, perhaps by next Tuesday, we could be talking about amounts that exceed, well, multiple inches across the area. That would be good to see for sure. We'll pull up that map here just so you can see it. Look at those bright red colors, which we have not seen on our maps for some time in terms of potential rainfall. Now, this requires the setup to play out just perfectly, but we got a ton of moisture in the air right now, and we're going to have more as we look ahead toward next week as well.
We certainly have had a really dry fall, so seeing widespread, potentially heavy rainfall in eastern Iowa's forecast is some pretty great news.
Yeah, we'll have to, of course, see how it plays out. Yes. And thanks for joining us tonight here on First Alert Weather Now. We'll be back again tomorrow night, same time. Have a great rest of the night.